just missing Instagram. And so every time I go live, it's like, okay. Okay, so hello to everyone. We're now live. I'm here at Blissful Beginnings with Zoe. Um, Zoe is the daughter of Christina, who allowed me to teach her for free, actually. That's just a heart of gold. So I would drop the whole entire world for you.
Thank you. And or interview a Buddhist to kind of learn more about your religion and be able to ask you a couple questions. And I'm really grateful that you were giving me this opportunity to ask you these questions and kind of see, like, step into your shoes, so to say.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome.
Fine.
But what you will get is the most up to date version, because I find every year a student does from across the world, from
Mm-hmm.
Canada, from across the world. They have assignments and they reach out. So it captures every time when I do something like this. It captures a moment of my perspective and view. Um, my biographical stuff doesn't change, but
Mm-hmm.
some questions relate to what Buddhism is happening now or what's happening in Buddhism now.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And
So
especially with the change of like social media and everything nowadays,
yeah.
it is kind of interesting to see how it differs from even just 20 years ago to today.
Yeah. So I'm ready whenever you are.
Okay. My first question is kind of what inspired you to become Buddhist? Is this something that's in your family or a choice of your own, and kind of what just inspired you on it?
So I was born and raised Catholic, um, hardcore Catholics actually, and after my grandmother passed away in 2015, I became a Buddhist monk.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been inspired by Buddhism since I was young, like 14.
Okay, that's
And 14 was when I started meditating. But I started to like get really curious about it in about like 12 years old because it just feels really peace and zen, and I've always been drawn
yes.
to that peace and zen in my life, the hectic life that I had as a young man.
Mm-hmm.
And my grandmother was really chill. That's one thing about her, and it comes circles back around to we inspire other people by and through our own change.
Right.
And I mean, she was an angry woman historically. I found out, but through everything that happened to her, how her husband was shot during the war, the Vietnam War, leading on to um, her present life at that time, she was just really just she didn't want to mess with nobody. She was just like zenning out in her room, and
I
I
love
saw that, and
that.
I'm like, this woman keeps to herself.
Mm-hmm.
She wasn't about drama. She smiles at everyone that she meets. It was lack of bias, prejudice, discrimination. It was lack of judgment. This woman was like the living example of universality.
I love that.
Yeah, stuff that your mom likes. So
Yes, definitely. I started looking into Buddhism and Hinduism around 14 as well. And then I started meditating around then as well with my mom's influence and everything. So it is kind of interesting to take these world religions classes and kind of see a different perspective and how important education on different religions is because, um, especially with different. Hate and things like that that go just based off of quick judgments that people make.
yeah.
But my next question is, what does it mean to you to be Buddhist?
Mm. It means to win the battle within ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
It means because the Buddha taught that each human will have greed, anger, and ignorance. Um, we want things. We want a lot of things, actually, all the time. Some of us want things excessively, where it affects homework, school balance. So we can see very clearly, whatever that desire is, or like if you're into cars, some guys go to great lengths and dropping all their paychecks on cars just
Mm-hmm.
causes a lot of suffering when you think about
Yeah.
it. And then they neglect bills, right? That's one
Mm-hmm.
example for people your age. Um, greed and then anger. A lot of us have anger, and it seems like the social media stuff or the media focuses in tapping into people's anger
Right.
because it just draws attention.
Yeah.
They're getting what they want out of us. Um, and every day the courthouse getting bigger, so it's jails, and you can see that anger proliferates across the United States, and it's not a good thing. And then The third poison in humanity is ignorance, and that doesn't mean you have to get a PhD. Ignorance of the Four Noble Truth, which is the ignorance of suffering, the truth of suffering, what causes suffering, and leading to the cessation of suffering, um, and the path to liberation, which is the Noble Eightfold Path. So to me, being a Buddhist is about knowing yourself and conquering the three poisons, um, being of service to other people. It's like when you really think about it, the cause of depression and the cause of all of these self-defeating, um, perpetual self-hate, or we always concerned about self-image and self-performance, and we always beat ourselves up. And throughout my whole life, it's about service. I've been volunteering since I was 14, uh, almost like 2 decades of volunteering. And when I look back on my own depression or beating myself up, whether I'm good enough or, what have I done for humanity and society, being of service is antidote to depression. Um, and overall, Buddhism is about the scientific study of the mind. So the Buddha says you can win 1,000 battle 1,000 times, but the noblest victor of all is one who defeats the battle within his or herself. And we all have a battle. We all have our own thing. And to look at the weaknesses and to defeat such weaknesses so that we become more effective and more efficient every day. That's what it means to be a Buddhist.
Thank you. That's amazing. In your view, what is most important about being Buddhist, which you kind of touched? Do you have anything else to add to that, or no?
We inspire other people by and through our own change. If we walk around angry, we inspire other people to be angry and not even know it. You know, you just walk on a city bus and you just look our, and you realize everyone around is gonna get our with you. And when they get off the bus, they're gonna our to other people too and not even know it. Um, so therefore, when we are at peace, it just other people will realize that we're such a light on this bus or anywhere we go or in the classroom. I mean, you're in your undergraduate year, so you have a lot of classmates that walk in and you realize someone's had a bad day.
Right. Yeah.
Their energy introduces them, the classroom before they even speak a word. Um, and so, additionally, being a Buddhist is also about forgiving, even speak a word. Um, and so, additionally, being a Buddhist is also about forgiving, about letting things go. Two things that we accumulate each day and as the week progresses is accumulating acquired negative bad habits, accumulating acquired negative emotions. And being Buddhist, when we meditate, is we let those things go. We let negative acquired emotions go and bad habits go. And that leads to you being more effective, more efficient, better members of society.
Yeah. Thank you. Um, what are some important Buddhist rituals or ceremonies that you participate in?
A lot. Chanting is one of them. We just had the Katina ceremony, the offering of robes, holy robes. Um, we have Buddhist holidays. We have the Vesak, the celebration of the birth of the Buddha, um, enlightenment, and subsequent death of the Buddha. So these types of events remind us about his teachings and his life. The Buddha was human. He was born here. He achieved enlightenment here. Um, and then subsequently he died here. The human's job is to forget. That's why people get themselves into trouble all the time. Like, why do people still get speeding ticket? Because they forgot the speed limit here. Like, how did you forget? And the word mindfulness means to remember to observe how your mind is jumping. Ah. So if I remain silent for the next 2 minutes, your mind's gonna start jumping around.
Yes.
Ah. So the Buddhist holidays remind us just that. When I go in and I pay respect to the Buddha, when I'm chanting. Nowadays, I'm getting older, even though I don't look like it. I look like
great.
your guys' age. I look like 20, but I'm 37.
Oh, wow.
And you flip that spiritually, I'm 73. So being spiritually 73, sometimes it can take on the actual biological age. So when yeah, like yesterday, I paid homage to the Buddha 3 times, and I thought I paid homage to the Buddha. I thought I bowed twice and not 3 times. I had to actually ask my student, like, was that twice or 3 times? And when I'm chanting, I would skip a word. So uh, but the chanting, keeps us in the present moment as much as it can, to follow along, to recite his teachings. So yeah, there's a lot of rituals, and usually I don't introduce the rituals to Western students because I'm a clinical Buddhist monk, similar to what your mom does as a licensed clinical social worker. Clinical meaning we are focusing immediately, directly, um, and instantaneously on the active suffering of the human, and to find a quick solution to that suffering quickly. That has to happen first, and then the religious stuff and the philosophical stuff goes behind my program. Any Western student that come and I'm like, yeah, bow 3 times. They'd be like, what? What are we doing? It's gonna sound like a cult. so, so there's a certain way to teach the Western students in the West. Yeah.
That makes sense. What does your meditation practice look like?
So we have two primary meditations in Theravada Buddhism. I belong to the school of the elders, Theravada. It started with us before the other schools, branched off.
Okay.
So it started with they were born out of us. So there's samadhi meditation, which is mindfulness of the breath. Is a one-pointed concentration on the breath, which is so I teach the 4 techniques. Breathing in, I know I'm breathing in. Breathing out, I know I'm breathing out. There's the counting technique: in breath 1, out breath 1, in breath 2, out breath 2. Um, there's the analyzing of the temperature of the air that we're breathing, to try to guess what is the temperature in this room is. Mm. And then there's the Butto technique, which is in breath But, out breath To. It means Buddha in Thailand, which encompasses the first technique, that you know what you're doing. Definition of a Buddha is one which knows. A Buddha who sits knows that he's sitting. A Buddha is, when he's walking, he knows he's walking. Um, and the Buddha says that if you don't know what you're doing, you're as good as dead. So when you're crossing the street and you're not aware, you might just have lunch with the Buddha very quickly. um, so that's uh, mindfulness of the breath. It aims to calm the mind down. When the mind is calmer, you can achieve more clarity, make better decisions when you're calm, versus being angry or lack of mindfulness.
Right.
The second meditation is vipassana, also known as insight meditation, and that really aims help you see things as they are, to examine your greed, anger, ignorance. It gets in depth. There's 4 foundations of mindfulness that you can Google, but it's really intense. Gets really deep. It You have to face your own pain. Um, so that's very advanced, and that has to be carried out skillfully. Someone who teaches that unskillfully can cause more harm than benefits.
Okay.
And that's why I ease people in slowly, to gauge the student where they're at in life, their intensity and nature and gradient of their suffering, and select one out of 84,000 teachings in his 45 years of the Buddha that he left us. Additionally, there's also 4 protective meditation functions: meditation on the Buddha, loving kindness meditation, meditation on the 32 parts of the body for those who are addicted or attached to things, and then there's death meditation to help emphasize that. The problem is we think we have time. So there's 2 primary meditation, and there's 4 supportive that I teach and that we often cycle through in this tradition, to stay on point.
That's awesome. How do you incorporate mindfulness into your daily life?
Everything I do, I have to be mindful because I'm a teacher. Now 10 years as a monk, you have to be more mindful than yesterday. 10 years as a monk, you have to be more mindful than yesterday.
Right.
um, especially with the programs that I run, which is teen suicide, and prevention of teen suicide. Additionally, I train other monks, other novices. I have novice programs. I ordain people. Uh, it's a lot. So I really have to remain mindful.
Right.
Um, there's this philosophy, you can't be drunk to see other people drunk. So you have to be mindful to see other people who are not being mindful, aka mindless. And that means they forget stuff and they lack certain things. And as a teacher, I have to catch that. I also have to be a couple steps ahead of my students, especially when examining their conscience or state of mind. I have to know where they're going to go, how they practice, how they study, what's bothering them, how their mind's playing tricks on them.
Right.
So as a skillful teacher, we have to always, be when examining a student or engaging in Buddhist psychotherapy, I really have to be in the present of enlightenment, and that's what it means. Mindfulness is that when you're mindful. Matter of fact, philosophy says the only time that you're mindful is when you're in love. And when you examine that closely, when you're in love, you're like really in the present moment with that person. Like when they sneeze, they're like, "That's you," and you're like, "Oh my god, that's so cute." Right? The little things about people. So therefore, um, when when you're mindful, it helps a lot uh, through everyday activities. It's costly. It's costly when you take the wrong turn. Gas, time, and so I incorporate everything that I do. Get some water.
I'm so sorry.
You're okay. No problem.
It's like an itch in the back of my throat.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay.
That works.
Need some boba.
Boba.
Boba cures everything. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just gonna go out and believe this monk.
Alrighty.
So yeah, so I've been practicing since I was 14. I have 23 years of meditation. Uh, I don't think I've ever met any monk that publicly told people that they've meditated that long. Um, so it helps out a lot, and that's how I incorporate everything: writing, speaking, driving. Got to be done mindfully. You can't teach mindfulness if you're not mindful yourself.
That is true. Alrighty.
Wait, I should also add, it doesn't mean that I don't make mistakes. I'm not perfect, and sometimes I do lapse, and sometimes I do forget my keys. So
Right.
I laugh at myself.
You're still human.
That's right. Not yet a Buddha.
How do you apply Buddhist teachings to deal with difficult situations or emotions?
The goal is to be free from disturbing emotions. And when emotions come, we have to catch it. We have to catch it quick and fast. For example, anger. Anger is very prevalent and common and frequent. So the Buddha teaches us to be aware of our senses: eyes, nose, ears, mouth. But typically, when our eyes are activated and our ears are activated, so we're taking in information. And as things happen, when he doesn't leave the shoes outside or inside, leaving the toilet seat up or down, doesn't do this and drives you crazy, you're just like, "Honey, I just told you 1,000 times this month too." Right? And so you see it's on the way. You can feel it on the way.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Any intelligent human, prudent, so you see it's on the way. You can feel it on the way.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Any intelligent human, prudent, intelligent human knows when anger is on the way. And mindfulness teaches you that, because you see, before meeting me or any qualifying monk, it has been, some people are so angry that it's normal to them.
Right.
It takes a therapist, which is your mom, to tell them, "Hey, Tom, Dick, and Harry, or Joe, you realize that your anger is not normal?" And it takes multiple times telling them that for them to examine and re-examine whether or not it's normal. It has consumed their life. So by do our practice, we're more mindful of it. And the first thing we're mindful of, physiological response, is our breathing. before you get angry, your breathing changes. Ah. Before you die, your breathing changes. 25,000 breaths we take each day. How
Oh
many of
wow.
them do you notice? See, people don't notice their breath until they're like on a ventilator,
Mm-hmm.
COVID, or they don't, or like something happens, or even anxiety, test anxiety for a college student. They're exasperate.
Yeah.
So therefore, the goal is to be free from disturbing emotions, and we apply meditation to be mindful of our emotions, the construction of our emotions, mindful and cognizant of our thinking, and how it's just information. All therapy is information, and things just perceived in front of our eyes, and it gets translated into our brain, our little noggin in here, and all of a sudden we're like, wake out. Just think about it, right? You know, you see things, and we're like, what the hell is he doing? Why is he doing this?
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand why he's doing this. I don't understand why she tripping. Why you tripping right now? Calm, chill, bruh.
Mm-hmm.
Take a chill pill. And then we lash out.
Yep.
Uh, so in that way, people can see in the body language and see it. So, but so all therapists, including can see it. So, but so all therapists, including myself, we change the way how people translate and interpret things when things come in, when information comes in. You know, um, like you sneezing, people get mad if someone sneezes. People get mad because he's tripping for real, or boys, they're bipolar or depression or anxiety, and through the informed lens of Buddhism, it's like, well, that's his nature, that's her nature. That's
Mm-hmm.
she's gonna be bipolar till she's 25. All kids are gonna be bipolar until they're 25. That's the true nature of reality of kids.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone under 25 is adolescent. So Buddhism aims, all teachings aims to see things as they are. Remember Vipassana? To help you see things as they are.
Mm-hmm.
So in essence, a student has to really study a lot about human nature, psychology, and understand Buddhist teachings. And then when you see someone wig out or tripping, we don't get mad.
Right.
We're just like, she's just having one of them days. Or she drinks coffee today. She didn't have her coffee, so
Right.
yeah. Just and then we also see the adverse effects of anger. Why get angry over someone's mistake? You're literally burning yourself over someone's mistake. That's their mistake. They're actually punishing themselves. Why are you punishing yourself for other people's mistake?
Mm-hmm.
Thus leading to your own high blood pressure and cardiovascular disease, or the cultivation of long-term effects, short-term effects of your own heart and health problems. Ain't worth it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a very angry young man, very angry. So one of being a monk is looking at our own faults and changing it,
Mm-hmm.
and that I have defeated my own anger. That's what a victory. So I hope to inspire other angry young people.
Mm-hmm.
The art of zenning out.
Right. That's great. What are some of the biggest challenges you face in practicing Buddhism in your everyday life?
Um. Yeah, we don't, I'm human, and so is the rest of the other monks are human. People push our buttons, students push our buttons.
Mm-hmm.
I am a social media Buddhist monk. I'm pretty sure your mom told you, right?
Yep.
And you're aware of my social media presence.
Yes, she said you have TikTok and YouTube. Is that it? Do you have anything else?
So TikTok 1.3 million.
Oh wow.
On YouTube 33,000.
Oh wow, that's
31,
impressive.
maybe 31 or 33, something like that. Um, uh, Instagram 33,000 or something like
Oh
that.
wow.
31, 33.
That's amazing.
So I don't exempt praise or blame. I attended something called white Christian nationalism. And there are people who defend their faiths. People look down on other faiths. So I get sticks and stones thrown at me. And I have to just fiercely bravely face that.
Yeah.
And to conquer that through understanding,
Mm-hmm.
effective understanding, and love. Love conquers hate.
Mm-hmm.
I can't respond hate and try to defeat hate. I mean, that's a lot of power. If you think about my social media presence, that's a lot of powers
Right.
that I could in turn use my words and throw spears at people.
Mhm.
I have background in law,
Oh,
19
awesome.
years in medicine and law. So you ever see lawyers go at it, as a judicial interpreter,
Mhm.
I've seen lawyers go at it. I study all of the vocabularies in law, so I can be very sharp with my words. And
Mhm.
quite frankly, if you go back historically, some of my live teachings, you see, ooh, wow, he's really grumpy today. As a Buddhist leader, sometimes we have to get a little grumpy, direct, because we're trying to detain a person's mind,
Mhm.
to try to bring them to the present moment and try to fix their mind.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, I try to be kind and understanding and compassionate, things that the Buddha wants me to do. But there's times where the Buddha himself was very stern. And I find myself progressing on this path, that I become calmer, I'm less reactive,
Mhm.
I wait to respond, slow, and realizing the entire world is watching. Um, and that's why I say I'm not perfect, and it's a practice,
Right.
and we get better at it. And I admit to my own faults, and I admit it to my own, things that I do that is unskillful, untrained, and unskillful. And at the end of the day, I review myself to see, did I do a good job? Did I do the best that I could have as a teacher? Is there any more I could have done? And with the people that I was with, resources available, and the time that I had. So it's a constant good, better, best. Never let it rest until your good is better and better is best. Philosophy. Do that filter.
Mhm.
But yeah, there's a lot of challenges, and you just face it head on, and there's layers of security that I go through before I speak. Um, Something called right speech, and then the timing of this speech right now. So lately, I just announced a celebration of the Lion's Roar under my school, which is it's like, yay, hey, I did it, 10 years of doing this. And one of my novices that I uh, got into it really bad. Even the police got involved. He subsequently came back and is now a major contributor to our program. Um, Unshakable faith and confidence in the teaching, and it's that right there that lets me know by these type of feedbacks of people coming back. Um, Again, there's hundreds and thousands of students that I've mentored and taught to. So it's always good to see them come back, and it
Mhm.
reminds me that yeah, even though you did have certain fallouts and some things got really bad, you did good as a teacher. Obviously, they came back because some things was right. I mean, if everything was wrong and I was a poor teacher, they wouldn't come back.
Mhm.
Especially when the police is involved. That got really volatile, shouting matches, and um, when anger proliferates that high. So yeah, but now again, we this is a self-correcting institution where constantly revising policies, revising and looking at the to-do list, looking at procedures, protocol, and always, always better than the last week or last day, so that the next students that walk in, they get the best available science, the best science in Buddhism, also known as Buddhist intelligence.
I'm so sorry.
You okay?
um, and then this is just my last question. What do you wish others knew about your religion?
That we're chill, that we accept people for who they are, no matter if you're black, white, Puerto Rican, Chinese, Japanese, if you're gay, straight, LGBTQIA plus,
Mhm.
we're chill. We come as you are, and we'll meet you where you are. We teach the how, whereas other religions teaches the what and the why.
Mhm.
Primarily, we teach the how. I wouldn't say that we're all one size fit all for everybody. Um, until this present day, I still practice being Catholic and Buddhist at the same time. And when I need to counsel, I can switch mode. Uh, so I just want people to just give Buddhism a try and see how well it works out for you. If you are not free from disturbing emotions right now in your life, it's and then you have to ask yourself some of these honest questions, like, yeah, I've tried it my way, and if the Buddha was sitting in this chair, the Buddha would say, Well, how else that working out for you?
Mhm.
You know, you try your way. You tried CBD, CBT, weed, ecstasy, cocaine, shrooms, LSD. Just the nature of adolescence. You've tried it all.
Mhm.
You've tried Zen, or you've tried uh, Christianity, and you've tried all these things. Just ask yourself, just be honest. Has it resolved your suffering? And to what extent? And is there more you could do? And Buddhism's been around 2,567 years ago. So why not use the timeless teaching?
Mhm.
The Buddha never had to change. We didn't have to change our order, didn't have to change anything in accordance to his original teachings. But yet it's lasted this long. And now you have a millennial monk who went to school like you guys,
Mhm.
who was tripping up and down, who dealt with bipolar, who dealt with depression, anxiety, who was suicidal, who had a gun, who was going to take his life with this Glock 9mm 17, Glock 17, changed completely from the old me.
Mhm.
Police used to come knock on my door all the time, handed me back to my parents. I was famous in St. Petersburg,
Mhm.
for just notorious for just acting a fool, just being stupid, you know, stupid crimes, stupidity, racing and stuff like that, 12 car accidents, you name
Mhm.
it. Um, I wanted to be a cop, couldn't be a cop because they're like, Captain George Crowder with Florida High Patrol, he was like, you want to give people speeding tickets? You have 3 pages yourself. But you try back in 3 years. So, just again, a living example of someone who came here age 7 and made all the mistakes in the world and changed for the better. I mean, I would be in prison if I didn't become a monk, or dead. And I've said this so many times in all of my other podcasts and stuff like that. So again, give it a try,
Mhm.
and I hope to inspire other people by and through my own change and transformation.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for your time today,
Yeah.
and thank you so much for doing this. It means the world to me. I'm really, really grateful.
On a personal note, anyone have any questions for me? Any questions that you have besides the assignment?
I don't think so. I think I'm pretty good. I think I picked out the questions. I asked what I really wanted to know. But thank you. Do you have any questions?
I don't think I have any questions. I mean, that was just really just interesting to listen to.
Mm-hmm.
It's very enlightening.
Awesome. So yeah, I hope that this assists in your assignment,
Yes, it's
and
perfect.
if your teachers or anybody wants me there, I was gonna go to St. Leo.
You were?
Yeah, I went to Eckerd College, but St. Leo is Christian based.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
Catholic school.
Catholic, yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
anything that's Catholic is beautiful.
Yeah.
They have such a large, powerful system of
Mm-hmm.
education and hospital and schools.
Yeah.
They got it going on. 2,000 years. We 2,567 years. Catholic 2,000 years. They're right behind us.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of things are right. So I really commend you guys for going to school, and let me look at your cohorts who are not, who are just right now on their couch.
Yeah.
You know, so I hope that you become. What is it that you're pursuing?
I'm doing elementary education. I'm getting my bachelor's. I want to be an elementary school teacher.
Oh,
Her lifelong dream since second grade.
really? So cute.
They are.
Until they're grown.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah.
I think Sophie, for example.
Teachers
she's
leave.
doing good.
Yeah, teachers leave footprints in our lives.
Yes.
I still remember my elementary teachers, Miss Henderson, and everybody else over there at Woodlawn.
Yeah, I have a lot of my elementary school teachers made a big impact on me, and that's kind of why I want to do either second or third grade. I think I'd really enjoy it. Plus, I had Sophie and Mason to practice on.
Yeah, and try to teach mindfulness then,
Yeah.
um, because you want them to like really chill at that age, because nothing good happens in middle school. They tend to knock each other up, get pregnant in middle school.
Either
And
knock them up or knock them out.
I got a novice that is 13 that has a girlfriend, and I'm like, you didn't tell me you had a. Well, you better not touch her. You wearing robes, you better not touch. Don't wink at it. Don't talk to it. Don't touch it. So, but 12, like sex education for me back then was 8th grade.
Yeah.
And by ninth
Doing
grade, I had a
six, though.
girlfriend, and she wanted to do what she wanted to do, and I'm like, girl, you don't get off me. I do not want to knock nobody up. I don't even know what love is. Go get off me, girl. So, again, elementary teachers, yeah, be that first line of defense and keep them from some of these high school kids, middle school kids.
No, I know.
So, all right, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna deactivate. Thank you all for joining us. If anyone have any questions, feel free to email me.
Perfect. How do I get my phone under this intro?
Just take it out.
Thank you so much for doing this for me. I really appreciate it.
Oh yeah, I just
That was
keep
awesome.
it real.
I'm glad I got to be a part of that.
Pretty sure you guys are hungry.